years in Quirky's first FNCS Finals appearance this season. They're trying to not only play in this finals, but really take over. And honestly, what a moment if you can kind of take over and push Braids and Visuals off of Rift Island, claim it to yourself, really start a journey here.
So what you're hearing there, right, is that you're hearing them sort of walk in and out of that sort of circle, that zone, right? Where you can activate the flag to be captured. And every time they do it, it does sort of lift it up just that bit more. So eventually the loot will fall and the loot will be there to be had. And once it is, they will definitely start fighting for it. And you can see already Visuals, they've picked it up. And that's actually just going to be the end for Quirky. Those pulse rifles, they just melt builds, they melt players, they melt everything in their sights. And Fizz will be very fortunate to do anything else in this lobby.
In a rock and a hard place due to the elevation. He gets tagged up from the distance, just trying to survive. Immediately disengages off of Rift Island overall, saying, hey, I'm better off trying to play this one as a solo for now. As Jan and 1 Week Miracle, we need a top 32 finish here just to get into Surge Week. So as we talk about teams and where they need to finish inside of the bubble, outside of the bubble, some teams have already secured their grand spots, trying to condition the lobby. This is a team that's just trying to keep their hope alive.
Yeah, you can say they need a 1 Week Miracle. With them.
I like it. I like it. Honestly, Jan,
I'm not getting hate comments for that one. That one wasn't my best work, but I'm trying. It's week 3. Let me cook. It's week 3.
We saw the pregame interview come through. The last NA West champion before the regions did combine. They need a top 32 finish today to secure their ticket for the grand finals. And what I like what this team did mentally is even though they only need a top 32 finish, they're telling themselves to inch closer, put that goal a little bit higher, and try to condition themselves. They know that finals lobby is going to be much tougher than anything they're facing here.
Yeah, they bad. Set their aims high. If they don't make it to finals, they will never hear the end of it from me. They will never hear the end of it from me. I'm NA West's biggest critic. And if the champions of the last ever NA West season can't make it to the new NA finals, oh my goodness. You will not hear the end of it from me.
I've never made a guarantee before, but they're making the finals. That's a Jacob PR guarantee.
That's a Jacob PR.
Everybody gets one. That's
I definitely want to see it. As much as I'm giving them some light jabs that I do want to see it happen, and I definitely think they're good enough to make it happen, right? There's no reason why they can't get the sort of minimum that they need in around 32nd place. And like you said, they're aiming their sights even higher.
User just gets damaged by Storm Surge as they're 102 below. Him and Acro found a team towards the outskirts. They're just hoping they could probably get the upper hand. That's Onwin on the other side, and man, as soon as they peek through that cover, he immediately gets shut down. Stuck between Storm Surge and Onwin. Him and Zypha trying to have a big performance on the day. There goes that first elimination. Shield Keg instantly dropped back down, not wanting to waste any time. There's one well-played shot from Acro, who has to be aggressive here due to Storm Surge. Inevitably, he has to bump into the box, but Walk and Straw is over on the other side. They hear all this action going down. You can see him dropping down low, figuring out if he can steal away some loot, steal away a shot, and turn the fight upside down.
Yeah, they need to. We were talking about how well these guys have to do if they want to start making their way through the next stages of the competition. Right now, those materials are not where you want them to be. 100 or so brick, no metal. These guys are definitely going to be looking for any opportunity they can to try and sneak in some damage and eventually pick up an Olymp, some sort of refresh. That's exactly what they want to do. Zypha and On1, they're going to continue to try to deal damage where they can. It's actually M2 and Orc that they'll set their eyes on now as well as they start to open peak, and maybe an ODM gear play going to come out here. They need to get towards zone, and so they'll do that, but when they get there, Zeki waiting for them. No, just going to move past. Not going to play on the offensive. Not going to be too reckless. But instantly looking back now towards the direction they came from, because they know there's going to be players coming in that way.
Zypha and On One, even though they're currently in that bubble, kind of positioned well when it comes to a spot into Surge Week. They need a top 2 finish to skip Surge Week and go directly to Grand Finals. That's a huge mountain to climb, but for anybody who dared to challenge it, the rewards are definitely worth it. A week off. Rokane and Vert, 317 above, 36 points so far here in this game. 34 of those come from game number 1. His placement points haven't even begun to set in here yet in this game. Top 30, and this is feeling like it's going to go
Pick my shit up now.
Yeah, but that next rotation
up against the wall.
Pivotal.
Yeah.
Max materials, kinetic blades, they are looking really well set up, but they have to get this next one right. So
Stop
many
eating all the cheese sticks too.
You see Knifer and Byler starting to make their move there.
I don't care how many
they
it
have to
is.
invest a bit of metal. It will probably be the best thing.
You can go get some macaroni
as they start to continue to rack up on points. We know how big of a day they need. What do we have here? No, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. No, 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 Amstrel. What? Say it ain't so.
For Acro, he needs those points. Again, a lot of these teams fighting to get past Surge Week. They don't want to have to risk it all there.
That is so lovely from Acro. The confidence to jump into the box and hit the shots as well. That is a very nervy thing to do. In these kind of lobbies, just jumping into someone's box and trying to take them out is hard. When there's 2 players there to fight, it's a near impossibility at times, but he gets the job done.
The Injustice above Knifer and Bylaw. That could have easily been an opportunity, as you can see that they're below the damage threshold, trying to look. They don't want to give up that high ground. They don't want to just jump into a box. Exactly because what you just explained, you're almost putting it all on the line for one moment, one battle, as we're going to get a farm pool. Double the distance this time around than some of the zones that we have seen last week, and now Storm Surge, they waited too long. It's going to affect them on their rotation.
Yeah, this far pool might be a blessing in disguise for them though, right? There's going to be so many teams that have to rotate. The whole lobby has to start moving, and so there will be opportunities to get shots. The problem is, these opportunities aren't coming that fast. You have to hit them when they're there, and you've seen how difficult it is to hit shots right now for Vitir. It's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to take down these guys kinetic blading. You're going to have to jump into a box if you want to make it happen. That realization for them, Jacob, it's come way too late. Now the time has come, but with just 10-15 seconds, 1 tick of damage done until they are out of the game. Vir and Justice fall at the wayside. Couldn't quite piece it together, do enough damage to stay in the game.
Those are those moments that you remember, and it kind of forces you to shift. It's only the 2nd game so far, so they definitely have more than enough time to really make up for it. As Bugha and Threats, both of them have a little bit of redemption arc coming into this season. Continue to explain both of them with their respective partners last season. We're looking at to be the favorites to take it overall, but they both fall short. Bugha quick to make that rotation. You hear him when he coaches a lot of these other players. He knows exactly when to kind of rotate first, knows exactly when to kind of delay himself behind, and now he got himself a spot. Not the ultimate high ground that he was looking for, but definitely above all the madness towards the low ground. Pops that slurp juice. Getting scared there, trying to figure out where Braids was positioned at overall. Taking a lot of damage. Not necessarily in the best spot, along with Azers, who lost Kanata yet again. We need a 48th place on the day, and honestly, 8 points so far. They're performing a little bit slower than I would expect, but they're definitely one of the teams you can never count out.
Yeah.
Even with how slow they may be performing, at this current pace, they're still on pace to qualify, right? So I'm sure they won't be panicking just yet. And we can't count Ages out yet. We've seen him do some crazy solo clutches in the past. Muzz and Dejan, though, a 2nd chance at life for them. Last game, we saw them up on height with pulse rifles. They couldn't quite hold on to it well enough. Now, though, they are going to start looking up towards it. They want to be the ones taking height this time round. And it looks like Braids and Visuals have been chopped out. I don't think they even realize it yet, but once they do, it's going to be a harsh shock for Quanti and Peter, but the team who we literally saw win the previous game, they are right now not looking too hot either.
Anthony wants to go back-to-back. Peterbot You need a miracle to perform. He tries to go up and over the zone here. You got to take note to a lot of these teams getting stuck on that ultimate low ground isn't where you want to be, especially with the different elevations that these players are going to have to go through. Even water on the other end of this zone, as Peterbot's going to go up, try to follow behind a lot of these players, recycle a lot of those builds as Bila and Knife are just trying to get themselves a spot. Raids and Visuals get knocked back down, but waste no time trying to build up that high ground once more.
Constantly getting chopped out on height, and they're spending so many builds as a result of it. You have to make these opportunities with the pulse rifle count. I'm not too sure why he's not even trying to hit fire. They're now finally opting to use the hit fire. It was ADS and a bit too much for a moment. But with just a couple wood builds left, if somebody looks up at height, there will be a chance to chop it, but the timing, that window is slowly ticking down as the zone gets smaller and smaller. Vert and Rokane, they're not worried about height. They're worried about just staying clear on this mid-ground layer. Nobody in sight, having to use their mats very wisely. They're starting to run very, very low.
Zone's going to pull back, though, so a lot of these players are going to be able to recycle some of these builds, including Visuals, up until a certain point, because he wants to hold on to that high ground. And this is where it's more important than ever before for him to try to put down pressure from above. Don't let anybody look up. Don't let anybody know you're a solo, because in the blink of an eye, they're going to challenge it. One of those teams is going to be Muzz and Degen. Muzz is going to be the first player up, and instantly he makes the right decision on the side of Visuals to just concede. Don't fight for it. You still have more points to pick up, just like Hedgie, as he goes in, takes down both Miro and Cooper to try to stay alive. He's going to get all that loot for himself. He's not really going to be able to take use of it just yet.
Backside of the zone, Edgy putting in that work. 6 limbs on this game. And if he's not careful, he'll run right into Vert, but with the form Edgy's in right now, he might just take him out as well.
Almost bone dry when it comes to materials, but at least he gets himself into the top 10. Luckily, Zone did pull back. He's able to recycle as much as possible. Bila and Knifer find one slipping. Unlike last game, they're hip to hip. They're doing it this time as a solo, and this could be huge and pivotal for their day.
But they need to start making more space, claiming more space on low ground if they want to be able to hold it. Knifer doing a good job. They have to drop down, start building, start claiming exactly what they will do now, and that's going to set them up once again really nicely going into these final zones. Threats trying to heal off now. Doesn't have Booger with him, and the last of this med miss is going to be all he has to play out this game. Visuals down to 0 mats as well, and so it's going to be another game where he has to hit a big pump, and he's not even going to get a chance to.
2 for 2. The players with the overclocked pulse rifles go down. Don't really get an opportunity to utilize it, as Threat's trying to fight into the backside of Zone. And this is where it's going to come down to the wire. Vert's just looking for where these players are attempting to heal off at, and Bila go ahead and ends the run, needing a big day. This is only game number 2. This is a way to start. Degen's trying to stop the heal off, but he gets cut short. Now it's up to Muzz. The first one's going to be cleaned up. Down to a 1v1. He's on the hunt for Knifer. Doesn't want to let this go down, but he gets it stolen away. Knifer secures the victory royale when they need it most.
We've talked about how big of a day they need to have. Every game has to count. We see them fight off spawn at the Citadel, and when they win that battle, they have to try and win the game, and that's what they do here in game 2. Very, very clinical from this duo.
The pressure to keep their hopes alive and a chance to make it to that FNCS Major 2 Grand Finals. And they are starting off just like any team would on a day like today, and even bringing it from solos in game number 1 to winning it as a duo here in game number 2.
And a beautiful execution of just the typical roles we see in competitive Fortnite. Bila playing as that fragger in the back of the top, Knifer claiming and taking space in the front, just waiting for Bila to deliver the mats for him to build, and then towards the end, the crucial shots just to secure the game as a whole after they made it so deep. A really, really nice game. Honestly, it doesn't get much cleaner than that. Of course, it doesn't go down to a heal off, and so they're fortunate they didn't have the heals necessary to do that. But a big, big game.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how solid their game plan is overall. It wasn't anything flashy at all, but they don't need to be flashy. They just need to be concrete in their game plan on the day, with a high placement in game number 1 and a victory here in game number 2. Do they have enough to take first place? Well, we're going to throw it on over to Zeke to find out.
As our casters just point out, Knifer and Bila need a very big day today if they hope to go ahead, skip Surgery Week, go right into Grand Finals. They're very quickly ramping up. Vivid, this is where I want to see this duo, right? In this position, getting themselves victory royale, and also pairing that up with 8 eliminations.
I mean, it's incredible, right? The conversation of the day was going to be like, listen, are they going to make it all spawn? Can they really even gather up some points today? First 2 games are going great, and there's eventually going to be a point throughout the day where they actually have enough points, and it won't even matter if they go down all spawn. So already, let's set the storyline for what's going to be happening at the Citadel in Grand Finals as Knifer and Violet pick up a couple more points.
Yeah, now they're almost conditioning the Citadel for the Grand Finals. I mean, talk about clutch, needing to come out strong. They're showing it all today. Like you mentioned, off spawn, and then just having this such fundamental synergy towards the end of the game, hitting those shots, like no slouch of a game, popping off. It's like a round 1 in the playoffs, game 7, they're clutching it up.
You'll love to see it. Now this means Knifer and Violet will jump up 7 placements to take over that #1 spot. Now breaking triple digits as well, but Peterbot, Quanti, they are looking to hang as well, and even seeing someone like Bugha and Threats right now starting to contest for that top 5. Gentlemen, I think this is a pretty good look to kind of think about. We have 4 more games today.
I'm liking it so far. We got a team that's kind of been consistent so far, kind of engaged and conflict. Game #1 was solid.
I wasn't even
Here.
Damage when it comes to Storm Surge, they're like, hey, this just is the game. Translate lessons when out. So, interaction, fast, it's tactile,
who they talking about?
That was on the TV, damn it. Dude. Oh shit, I forgot. Damn, I forgot, dude. I was supposed to go to this fucking Alpha 6 Google brother. Appreciate you so much, bro. It's every fucking day! This shit I heard. Yo.
Hazle caso a tu amiga, ella tiene razón. Yo voy a romperte el corazón, voy a romperte el corazón. Hazle caso a tu amiga, ella tiene razón. Yo voy a romperte el corazón, voy a romperte el corazón. Hazle caso a tu amiga, ella tiene razón. Yo voy a romperte el corazón. Hazle caso a tu amiga, ella tiene razón. Yo voy a romperte el corazón, voy a romperte el corazón. Hazle caso a tu amiga, ella tiene razón. Yo voy a romperte el corazón, voy a romperte
Go get me a soda. And 3 cheese sticks. 3